morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host, Renessa Ortiz, and we are counting down to International Women's Day. Yes, we are continuing the conversations this week, highlighting our women in the Tobago space and really getting into the minds of our women, what it means for them to pursue their careers and what it means to be a woman in the modern day. It is March 5th, 2026, and we are continuing those conversations this morning. But before we head on over into anything else, we're going to go into news in 90 seconds. A Pigeon Point showdown. The Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago issues SOE press freedom warning. Swift justice for brazen theft and a new THA pact to protect our turtles. Your news in 90 seconds starts now for Thursday, March 5th, 2026. A fierce row is erupting at Pigeon Point. Ronnie Elliott of Cool Runnings is lashing out after reportedly receiving a cease and desist letter for refurbishing his boat on the shoreline. Elliott, a 25-year veteran, is refusing to move, claiming he's maintained the area with $30,000 of his own funds and accusing management of disrespecting local boatmen while allowing others to encroach on the bay. He is demanding a face-to-face meeting with the board. Is the state of emergency threatening press freedoms? The Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago President Priya Bihari is calling for a narrow interpretation of Regulation 11, which restricts influencing public opinion. While the clause appeared in previous SOEs and has been used against social media users like Olive Green Jack, Bihari warns that authorities must respect constitutional safeguards to ensure legitimate journalism isn't silenced. In local courts, the man caught on camera walking out of Penny Savers Canby with a full basket of unpaid goods on February 24th has been found. Following a swift TTPS investigation, the suspect was arrested, charged, and sentenced to 2 months of hard labor. Finally, Secretary Darren Henry met yesterday with the Turtle Village Trust Executive Director, Dr. Alan Bachan, to strengthen conservation efforts. The new partnership aims to use community-led data to protect nesting sites as the 2026 turtle season shifts into high gear. That was your news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for a full newscast. Now, viewers, we are on to the celebratory segment of our mornings. It is the birthday shout out. We have 3 lovely people here this morning. Happy birthday to Candice Utley. You look so beautiful in your picture here. I know you're going to have a splendid day today. I hope you spend it with all of those who cherish and appreciate you, and wishing you all God's richest blessings upon your life in the new year. Up next, we have Imo Jordan. Happy birthday to you. I hope that this year, I'm sitting in the background, you're looking like you're out of Trinidad and Tobago. I hope that today is being spent outside of Trinidad and Tobago and that you enjoy it to the fullest. And last but certainly not least, we have Kern Johnson. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. You look very dashing in this picture here, and I hope that today is one that is filled with lots of laughter and joy, and you spend it with those who cherish and appreciate you. To those who didn't make it on our birthday shout out this morning, we want to wish you a happy birthday, and we hope that it is filled with lots of joy, laughter, and it's spent with those who love and appreciate you. We're going to head straight into the rundown so you get an idea of the conversations we are having this morning. We have Dr. Hazel Thompson, MD, Family Medicine, and we're talking about women in medicine. After that, we have Dr. Rita Pemberton, historian, lecturer, and author. And last but certainly not least, we have Tenil Mayers, owner of Tuft and Tins, and we're talking about International Women's Day, Sip and Tuft. Now, viewers, before we head on over into our conversations, we're going to head to a short break, but I want to thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, AMPLIA, Digicel, Flow, and we want you to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowland. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, Amateur Comic, Bishop Terence Bays. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. And Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back on screen. We are viewing an aerial view of Wilson Road traffic light. We are seeing quite a buildup of traffic this morning coming from the east this morning. The west is still relatively low in incoming traffic. The Plymouth Road is free flowing to and from coming out of Scarborough. We are still advising all persons who are using their vehicles today to ensure that you are safe on the roads, to practice that road safety and get out onto the road before the traffic builds up, to get to work on time and to drop your children off to school safely and on time as well. And that was your traffic report for Wilson Road. Up next, we're going to go into the birthdays. We forgot someone this morning, but we had to make sure that we got her on this morning. Happy birthday to Zuri Jack of Susulan. She's 6 years old today. Look at that smile on her face. I know her parents are going to really spoil her this morning, and she's going to enjoy her day at school with her friends and teachers. Now, joining me in studio this morning is my lovely co-host. She's no stranger to the Tobago Updates family. We have Joel Green George in studio with us. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Happy to have you in studio with us, sharing these conversations, co-hosting these conversations with these lovely women that we have who are taking charge in their various aspects in life, and here to give a bit day-to-day of what it's like to be in their shoes. Now, viewers, before we went to the break, I shared with you we'll be speaking to Dr. Hazel Thompson-James when we come back, and she's here in studio with us. And good morning and welcome to you.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
It's such a pleasure to have you in studio with us. Now, Dr. Thompson-James, as a district medical officer in family medicine, you serve communities from Scarborough to Buku and Bethel. Tell us a little bit about the work you do and what a typical day looks like for you.
Okay. So there's no typical day, but what we do is we deal with anything from childhood, birth, all the way up to elderly and death. So on an average day, we have different clinics scheduled. So yesterday was antenatal clinic. It was really fun. Had a lot of pregnant bellies, first-time mummies, all the excitement with that. Today is supposed to be a chronic disease day, which we deal with lifestyle illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol. And during the 8 to 4 shift, we cover medical legal calls for the district that you call, which is Scarborough, Bethel, Buku. So any sudden deaths that occur during the daytime, we cover for that. And any sexual assaults that occur, we also cover for that. And in the nighttime, we also cover medical legal calls for just one doctor at a time.
Well, you mentioned that your goal is to manage the community so well. But that's when we spoke earlier that, you know, they don't have to go to the hospital for the simple things, right? You know, they go for the major stuff. Yeah. And, you know, in terms of, if you could prescribe one major change for society's women, for support for those women, what would that be outside of the doctor's office? How could society support our women better, especially as we're looking at International Women's Day?
Okay, so I'm a strong proponent of that everybody should be in a clinic, right? But when we look at what we see in the primary care facility, it is not just health-based stuff, like something going on physically with your body. We also see mental aspects that go on, socioeconomical stuff that we deal with. So a lot of the time in clinics, while yes, we may be treating the medical aspect, we also have a lot of persons that come in that are in a lot of economic situation, hardships, mental disorders, family situations. So what I would really encourage in our communities, because we are very strong in our communities, is to reach out and help each other out. Health education is important, understanding mental health, understanding the impact of pregnancy on women, understanding first-time mummies or parents who have had recurrent children, the stress and the workload that is on that woman and her husband or her partner in terms of managing, dealing with that and still showing up in the workplace. our elderly are gracefully aging, but they do need some support in our communities as well. Getting to the groceries, paying their bills on time. Some people don't have their mortgages paid off by the time they retire. All these are hardships that women and men face in our society that makes it a little challenging when we're just trying to deal with a healthcare aspect. So we have to deal with the overall person. Nobody is a subset of themselves. We are holistic. So we deal with mind, body, and soul when we see them in the primary care aspect. So it shouldn't be a void from coming to the health center. You need to know about your blood pressures. You need to know about your sugar levels. You need to know if you have high cholesterol, especially if you have a strong family history of cancer. We have to have those kind of conversations. Many people don't know until it's too late. And then they come in and say, they did tell me that auntie had so-and-so or uncle had so-and-so. So it's not coming to the health center, but the level of difficulty that is encountered in secondary care, the hospital, it's harder to deal with that. It will be easier to deal with that if we had a strong base in primary care where people were willing to come into the healthcare system to get things dealt with at an earlier stage. Prevention is way better than trying to get a cure at the end of the day.
Now, Dr. Thompson-James, you touched on something I was speaking about just this week with someone I met in passing, and they were talking about how we usually neglect our health, especially as women. We don't do our routine checkups from as early as 18, maybe even before, because we are young women. We go into certain cycles before we even reach adulthood. And as we observe International Women's Day this year, what are some of the health issues women should be paying particular attention to, especially here in the Tobago space?
Okay, so when we look from childhood, if you start having very heavy, painful period, that is not normal. You come in, you see a doctor. From the age of 21 or from 21, if you are sexually active, you should be getting your pap smears done to help with cervical cancer. From 18 years and over, especially if you have a strong family history of hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, you should be coming in and at least getting your baseline blood pressures, blood sugars monitored at least once a year or every 2 years. You could do blood works within the health system. By the age of 40, we advise that women get their mammograms done. At least once every 10 years, they do a colonoscopy, all right? Of course, lifestyle is the most important aspect. What you put in is what you're going to get out. We tend to push our bodies. As I said, women tend to put everybody before themselves. So they will come in, they have the grandchildren or their children, or as you all are doing, showing up professionally at work, and you want to be your best and you're doing the most, A lot of women are in senior managerial positions, and therefore they tend to neglect themselves, put themselves lower down on the scale of things to do. But I always believe the Bible talk about overflow. You give of your overflow. So you have to take care of yourself first. You have to pour in to be able to pour out. So those are the things I think women need to invest into themselves.
As a medical doctor in the family medicine field, you see the full gamut of it, right? And you may see persons who are sexually abused, persons who may be assaulted. Tell us the importance of having, a compassionate, female-led physician like yourself be the person that such a person might come into the health clinic to deal with.
Okay, so family medicine specifically is patient-centered. We strongly advocate that the victim is who sets the tone. All right, we want to make sure that at the end of the day, we're showing up in a compassionate way, we're showing up in a respectful way. We want to make sure confidentiality is maintained. This is sometimes one of the hardest situations a woman may or male have to go through, because we do see both within our region. All right, so no matter if you're male or female in the medical profession, you always want to make sure you put in the client first, that their interest is what you seek most of all, that you make sure you're maintaining their health, their respectability, because you get stripped of a little bit of your dignity, especially when something so abusive have happened to you. You feel like it's your fault, and we have to, from the police to the nurses, to the doctors, to the counselors, everybody who's dealing with this person who has been traumatized. We have to keep showing up in a way of compassion, in a way of love, in a way of respectability. There should never be that their information is leaked, you know, that they should feel at the end of the day that they have felt somebody who has given them back something that may have been stolen from them after the end of the journey. But everybody within the healthcare field, within the police service, within the counseling service, has to remember that we have to place the patient. The patient is the most important component of what we do.
Now, just tagging on to what Joel asked, from your experience, what are some of the support systems that communities can put in place for victims who have experienced sexual abuse, especially our women? I know you spoke about the counselors and those within the medical community, but in terms of the community outside of the medical, what are some of the tips that you can offer to the viewers listening to help these individuals?
Well, for me, it would be starting with education, right? Understanding from a ground level up. These kind of situations should really never happen, all right? If we're being honest with ourselves, we need to counsel both male and female from primary school age about consent, you know, being aware of a woman's body or a man's body, you know, what that looks like and how to speak up, making sure that you have within your church communities that you have people that you could feel comfortable going to, especially if something is happening within your household. Of course, teachers as well also play a vital role, and just basic support, you know, but education I think would be the most primary from a ground level. The most helpful tool in our communities, the awareness, and to see the trauma that comes from the other aspect, and maybe educating people to say, this is the direction we really need to go as a accountable society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned trauma, and a lot of times we try to bury it, try to, you know, stifle it because we don't want to deal with it. But in terms of your medical field and seeing, as I said before, you know, from birth to death, the full gamut of all the issues and so on, what has being in your profession, in your field, taught you about the resilience of the human spirit in terms of when people come in and you speak to them, you know, I feel the warmth coming off of you, and I feel I feel that, you know, persons coming to you are going to get that very warm feeling and dealing with their issues. But what have you seen and noticed about how resilient we are as human beings and as Tobagonians?
I think medicine is so unique. It's like the best job that you could have. You see a wide array of people. Family medicine, I think, is top tier because we get to interact and just enjoy the persons that we talk to. In our culture and in our society, currently Tobago, there are a lot of people who are dealing with a lot of issues. As I said, for the 20-minute consultation that we may have, maybe 5 minutes may be spent on the healthcare aspect, and the rest of times you are talking to people about whatever else is going on that is preventing them from optimizing their healthcare needs. But people in Tobago, I worked in the the Mount St. George to Bell Garden community for a very long time. These patients come with a smile. They come with all the energy and enthusiasm. Even when they are having a hard time, they may come in the office and cry. But they come with such positivity, you know, they come with encouragement, especially during like times like COVID. You know, I worked in oncology, and it was very, very hard for me, you know, because these people are being treated, and some of them may not have positive outcomes, but they always came with a smile. They always had a word for you. Yes, they always give encouragement to the doctors themselves, you know. So it's giving, but it's also receiving a lot of times, you know. So I'm always grateful for that. I'm always grateful for the community that are people when you come into the health center, they're just chatting about everything under the sun. You know, you hear a little bit of politics, you hear a little bit of world news, every single thing, and they look out for each other. So when we explain and we say, okay, this is what's happening now, they give us grace, all right, and they come in and they oftentimes leave with a smile at the end of it all. So while, yes, family medicine can be mentally exhausting because it takes a lot from you, it also is very refreshing at the end of the day.
I want to go into a bit of generational information being passed on. As a family physician, you treat women at many different stages of life. What are some of the conversations mothers should be having with their daughters from the early onset? I know you spoke earlier about preventative measures. What are some of the things mothers can start speaking to their daughters about from the get-go to help with alleviating some of the tensions down the road? Because as you mentioned earlier, women take on a lot. They are CEOs, they are managing multiple businesses, they have children, they're saying about the home. What are some of the conversations moms need to start having with their daughters?
It's more than conversations. For example, I could say for my mom, she was a teacher, but she was a workforce. She was such an example for us that we try to lead by her example. So as I said, she took the time to go on her vacations. She took the time to make sure she went to her doctor's appointment, which was prominent to her, important to her, sorry. She took the time to sit down and have just conversations with us. So from the age of 3, we were aware of good touch and bad touch, what is inappropriate, you know, parts of your body, and she used the appropriate names so children can identify, hey, so and so touched my vagina, and be clear about it. So those are conversations that you should have from very young, and repeatedly. You should talk about not necessarily work-life balance, but prioritizing what is the priority at this point in time. So if right now you want to focus on your schoolwork, make it a priority and pour in a lot of love. Primarily, you need to have that strong foundation for the young women, because, you know, in this day and age with the social media, the TV, everything is telling you that you should be worth little, you know. But that encouragement, that support from the mom, and making sure that you see healthy love being an example, then you know how to move through this world, you know.
You mentioned, you know, as they say, don't do as I say, do as I do. You know, living that example, and really taking care of yourself. So it's not just a conversation that the parent is having with the child, but the child is seeing the lived experience. And for you in such a demanding job, could you tell us what are some of your practices for you, as you spoke of, you know, giving of the overflow? How do you maintain that high overflow for yourself?
In the beginning, it was a little bit of a struggle. I would not lie. It was trying to get accustomed to the routine. But what I try to prioritize, I go exercising at least 4 days out of the week. A little group of friends, we go to Cove sometimes and we walk. If we can't do that, I'll do a bit of a 10 minutes or 15 minutes morning exercise just to help settle me for the day. I always spend at least 15 minutes in doing my devotions, centering myself with God, because I feel that what I'm doing is unto Him and Him only. It's a privilege to be able to be doing what I'm doing. I try to be active in my church group, right? And I also try to be active, well, my nephew's doing cadets, so I'm trying to be active in the cadets organization. But I go on my vacations. I love a good travel experience. I love to travel, so I make sure I prioritize that, you know, and recalibrating with the people that love me when I know I'm stressed. You know, I also advocate strongly for mental health. So with the EAP, I utilize their services when things get overwhelming, especially either at home or in work, right? So I also make sure that is something that is important for me to do. Yeah.
And Dr. Thompson-James, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning, sharing a bit about your life, sharing encouragement, giving us a bit of insight on what it is on a day-to-day, especially when it comes to dealing with patients from so many backgrounds. I want to thank you so much for sharing the tips on taking care of our mental health, especially as women. We take on so much and we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. So I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing all of that with us this morning.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
So viewers, we want to remind you to stay right here. We're going to be right back and continuing the conversations with all women. But I want to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and low, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and low. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying here with us at Tobago Updates as we celebrate in advance International Women's Day 2026 with the theme of rights, justice, and action for all women. So if you're viewing from wherever you may be and you are celebrating International Women's Day with us, we thank you for being here with us today. Earlier we spoke to Dr. Hazel Thompson-James, and we have with us an amazing guest. We all know and love this guest, and we're going to be speaking with Dr. Rita Pemberton. She is a scholar who believes that to know where Tobago is going, we must first untangle the knots of where we have been. She's a retired senior lecturer and former head of the Department of History at UWI St. Augustine. She has spent decades moving beyond the dry dates of the colonial records to find the heartbeat of our ancestors, the midwives, the farmers, and the resilient workers who built the island's soul. As a prolific author, a leading voice on the Association of Caribbean Historians, and a dedicated public educator, she doesn't just teach history, she reclaims our identity. Welcome, Dr. Pemberton.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're so happy to have you here with us. Thank you. Dr.
Good morning, Tobago.
Dr. Pemberton, how are you celebrating International Women's Day, which is on Sunday?
Well, the thing about celebration is it has to be combined with all the other things that a woman has to do. So while celebration is, considered a special corner, I think women celebrate Women's Day every day because of the responsibilities that a woman has to family, to community, to job, to people who need assistance in a number of ways. So what I plan to do is one, I have some papers that I'm reading for a publication, in fact, for 2 publications. So much of my time would be devoted to doing that. But women who have children and very demanding family responsibilities, caregiving to older persons, have to do all that whilst they celebrate International Women's Day. But for me, it would be working on those papers and trying to get them out with distress authors knocking, so when are we going to get back our papers? That's me on Sunday.
Certainly, Dr. Pemberton, you and I are no strangers to each other, and I've heard you say a number of times that the education system is woefully, miserably failing our students to helping them to understand themselves. If you were the Secretary of Education, because we know you have such an extensive background as an educator, could you tell us what perhaps could be one of the first hidden pieces of Tobago's history that you would mandate that every classroom would need to bridge that gap?
Well, it wouldn't be a piece. It would be a process. I think students should be made to understand themselves and what went before. Some of the concerns that students have are based on a lack of understanding on what went before, what experiences their folks had to overcome to get us where we are today. And I think that is something that everybody should understand, who we are, where we came from, how we got there, particularly how we got there. And the landmarks of Tobago are very strong and stark in some instances, and unless people understand that, we will ride along and be influenced by others, influencers as they call themselves, or on TV shows, and what is fashionable, but not what is durable. And I think that is where the school system does not assist us to understand ourselves, and I think that's where we should start.
There is being done currently the augmentation of what they are calling a Tobago-centric syllabus for students. In your perception, in your perspective, what would a Tobago-centric syllabus look like, perhaps for primary schools? What would that entail in terms of having that Tobago-ness that we are looking for our education system in Tobago to provide for our students?
The first thing I would say is that there must be an understanding of what made Tobago special. What made us people of Tobago special? What did we experience? What did we do? Or how did we make a claim on the outside of Tobago? So we talked, and the recent discussion about the boats and the ship and the boat not coming, and the shelves are empty. I am surprised. The shelves are empty. Tobago had a reputation of growing its own food. What is this empty shelf about? So there we must understand how we came to be. Tobago was sort of bunched along, jumped along, pushed along by various European powers. And it took a while before we began to get a grasp on ownership of Tobago and directing its development. But we have fallen short. And we have fallen short simply because people didn't understand that role that required us to go along that road and push until we got, into the 20th century as an island where most people own land or had access to land. What has changed and why? We need to understand that in order for us to move forward as a people.
You mentioned specialness, that thing that makes Tobago special. And you did mention just now about the boat, us talking about, the cargo boat, the lack of having supplies, food shortages, the shelves being empty. Talk to us a bit about when you mentioned, Tobago has a history of being able to feed itself when we look at food security. Tell us about that in terms of what role would women have played in getting Tobago food secure, in feeding Tobago's children, bringing food on the table. Talk to us about that.
Well, the role of women was of central importance. One, the woman stayed at home and, well, let me start. After emancipation, there were problems with earning a living, and therefore you worked on the estate. That's where jobs were had. Until the 20th century, that somebody decided that you need to pay attention to infrastructure, roads and so on. Women were the people who did a lot of work in their homes, not just caring families, but growing items. So the male of the family, or the male, went to work on farms, and they grew their own gardens, but those gardens were cultivated with the assistance of the women, who also had their little vegetable gardens and stuff in and around their homes. Now, in addition to that, the jobs for women were restricted. When they started having workers clear roads, it was women who carried, and it was a lowly job, and women was scorned for having to do that. Women had to carry when there's a landslide and the stuff was scraped off the road and piled at the side. Women had to carry that stuff on their heads and dump it wherever they were told. As I said, women were scorned for having to do that job because it was considered lowly, but for survival of a family, the women did that. Women were also the people who sold items of food. You see that tray, that food tray, and sitting on the head of a woman? That is a symbolic indication of the role of women in the society. So there's this woman who sold from the fishing communities, dried fish, fried fish, pastries, cakes, all items that were in short supply in one area were supplied by women in trays on their head. Women provided services in the town, selling food, pies, dishes, tarts, sweetbreads, etc. So the role of women was central. And then some women became landowners by working, saving up their little pennies, and having to deal with those selling land, those very, very unscrupulous landowners who dubbed some of them by giving them pieces of paper where sometimes, which were not worth anything, and sometimes no paper at all for the money that they had collected. So we had the women landowners, women as businesswomen selling their stuff, walking, strutting the road, women as workers on the roads and in their communities. And certainly alongside with that, the women were caregivers. There was no right until well into the 20th century, there was no home for the aged or no home for orphan children, and those responsibilities were carried by women in the communities in addition to their family responsibilities.
You're bringing up some very salient points, some historical nuggets, and as a Tobagonian traversing this space, when you look around, you do see quite a number of businesses, women-owned, woman-led, right here in Tobago, starting in Uptown Scarborough. one of the more popular older businesses would be, and I don't even know if this is the real name, but the three sisters. I don't know if you know about that. Well, I'm sure. Tell us about what are we looking at when we look across Scarborough, when we look across the business community in Tobago. What are we really seeing of our history with women being the business owners and the drivers of the economy, not just being homemakers, but the drivers of the economy, the business women out there really doing it?
Well, the nature of the businesswoman in Tobago has changed. And when we talk about business, we separate big business from small, medium-sized business. And certainly in terms of big business, there's not a great deal of visibility of Tobago women. And that is a significant change because previously women were big landowners. The businesses in Scarborough will run, those along the port area there, they will run by women. Miss Scobie, the Lion Sisters, and I don't think that is a change that moved us further ahead of ourselves. So what it is that we have not done, again, we go right back to school. There is a certain kind of perception that education makes you a professional, and some occupations were not classified as professionals. So you aimed as a student to fit into some cube. So if you were scientifically oriented, I think everybody is and should be. But if you were going into the science, that was at the expense of doing the arts, of being creative, of being expressive. And that is so bad, because what you have is people being groomed along a particular path and not able to relate to the other paths except by exploitation. So you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be, one of these high-paying, high-profile occupations. But you don't have time for other things. You don't even understand the people, your clients or your patients, what they are experiencing. In fact, clients and patients become persons who could be easily exploited because you don't want to die, you want to get better, you want to get your issue resolved. So you do anything, virtually. But also the children are growing up with a perception that there are some ways to make money fast and not necessarily proper, correct, or fair. And we need to imbibe these practices in people from the young. That's, you don't abuse somebody because you think you are better, or you think that they are weak, and then you can deal with them in that manner. So I think that the education system for Tobago needs a serious rehaul. I don't know how they are going to, what the plans are to integrate Tobago into the curriculum, this Tobago-centered curriculum. I'm not sure what it is. The idea is noble, but I have to see how it plays out. I really can't comment on it because I don't know what is in there, but I would say it is something that is absolutely necessary, and it is about high time we deal with it, particularly given the sorts of challenges the island is currently facing. But certainly, the food is something that has to be corrected.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pemberton, for viewing, staying with us, sticking with us, because I know you, Dr. Pemberton, you're always locked into Tobago updates. So it's really nice to have you on screen with us today on the morning show, and for sharing your knowledge. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. But as Dr. Pemberton shared with us, be reminded of our history. It's not just in the archives, it's in our names, it's right here in our villages and in our stories. And keep in mind that International Women's Day is coming up on Sunday, the 8th of March. And as we celebrate our women, we want you to remember to celebrate your Tobago history. We'll be right back.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowlands. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. And Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show. Here from the aerial view, we are looking at Orange Hill traffic light. We are seeing the traffic is moving from east to west and west to east in a smooth flow of traffic, but we're seeing that the highway is getting pretty occupied. So if you know you are late for work, now is the time to get on the road before it gets a bit more jam-packed. Coming from the gas station side, we are seeing that it's a bit slow. There's not much going on there, but we have a pileup of traffic coming from the Orange Hill road. So get on the road and remember to be safe this morning on the roadway. Viewers, good morning, and in studio with us this morning we have Tenil Mayers. She is the owner of Tuft and Tins, and we're continuing our celebrations this week for International Women's Day. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning. So it's Tufting with Tins, and I am Tenil Mayers, the owner.
So Tenil, let's get started with you. Let the viewers know who you are and about yourself and how you first got started within this creative space.
So initially, I started selling work stuff for women, handbags, clothes, accessories, but I find I wasn't able to be as creative as I can be. So I just put a halt on that. And while my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, I would have been home helping take care of her. And that's how I saw Tufting on YouTube. I began doing some research, seeing it on Instagram, on TikTok, and I said, yeah, I can do this. And that's how it started.
Now I know your business is Tufting with Tins, right? But we're going to be speaking a bit about your upcoming event, which is Sip and Tuft. Tell us a little bit about that and what gave you the inspiration to even decide to go into that venture particularly.
Okay, so my thought process was rugs may not sell whole year. So I needed something to fit in the interim. If it's not making rugs, what? So I decided to do some smaller pieces, not using the tufting gun, but using the punch needle. And I launched the Sip and Tuft. Now we'll be having an event on March the 28th at the Scarborough Library, and this will be our third event. We try to have one at least once a month, so different persons could come. I also allow persons to book me for their events. So if they have an anniversary, a birthday celebration, anything of that sort, you will come book me and I will most likely be there.
Now, I don't know if the viewers can see it up close, but this looks like really intricate work. Can you walk us through what the process is like when you have to create orders such as these? I'm seeing a Chelsea FC here. I know in the back there's someone from the production team who isn't really a Chelsea fan and they were asking about Man U. So tell us a little bit about the process when it comes to making these orders.
Okay, so these orders are created using a tufting gun. So I put the fabric on the frame and I use the gun and the wool to create. If you feel it, it's very soft. It's made from wool.
It is very soft.
Yes, it is.
And the detailing, to have this line here just to show exactly what it is you need, a lot of attention to detail goes in.
I put the projector on the frame, and that's how you get the image. So you draw in all the lines and stuff with a marker, and then you could go ahead with the tufting gun.
Now for the frames on the side here that you do for your Sip and Tuft, walk the viewers through the experience, what it's like on the day when they book your services and they're doing the Sip and Tuft. What the atmosphere is like?
Okay, so think of it as a sip and paint, but you're doing tufting. Usually, I have an icebreaker at the beginning of the event, just so if the persons are not familiar with each other, you know, you could just break the ice a little bit, let you all get acquainted and just get comfortable in your space. I usually ask them, what type of music do you want to hear? Is it gospel? Is it soca? Is it R&B? What you want to hear? And the last session, the girls requested R&B and we were singing whole evening long. Oh my gosh, it was so nice. I do have a wine supplier who is local, Joe Phil Wines, pick up him. He is awesome and he actually been a part of the whole Sip and Tuft launch. The people love his wine.
Now apart from the Sip and Sip and Tuft. I go to Sip and Paint. I'm sorry. The rugs and the orders that you have for persons who are interested, can you give a general price range that you start at? What's the biggest you can go? Because I'm seeing here some of these are pretty big, and I'm sure you can go a lot bigger. So share with the viewers and persons who may be interested your general price range, your handles, and how they can get into contact with you if they are interested in your products.
Okay, so we start at 2.5 feet and we go all the way up to 6 feet. So this is usually a small rug. Something like this could cost about 300, and we can go as big as the Chelsea rug, and this is 3 feet by 3 feet. This one is highly requested. I know some persons do not like Chelsea, but I guess the Chelsea fans have money because they order. And I actually have a next order for a Chelsea rug. So Man U, I'm not sure, they're probably kind of cheap, but Chelsea, yeah, big up Chelsea, right? Something like this, which is Hello Kitty. We could do something for the kids, character mats for the kids, you know, just add something different to the room, give it a little spice, choose your character, and we can do that. In regards to ordering, you can order via WhatsApp. My contact number is 282-4055, or you can add me on Facebook or TikTok, Instagram as well, Tuftin with Tins, Tuftin with _Tins, right? So
now, Ms. Mills, we want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing about your products, your upcoming events. We wish you all the best going forward in your business venture. And guys, she isn't lying. Feeling the texture of these rugs, it is indeed soft, and I hope you do book her, because it is I would say it's an investment, especially as you said, for the kids, for the persons who are Chelsea fans. They have this as a monument to celebrate whenever they walk by. And I want to wish you all the best going forward, and happy International Women's Day to you. Viewers, don't go anywhere. The programming at Tobago Updates is not finished. Up next, we have GMT. But I want to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
To the world.
The Bell Garden Anglican School is here to entertain and inform you. We come here with a health conscious mission to tell you that living healthy and drug abstinence is the best decision. So sit back and relax, except the judging panel, because we come here to flip the script and change the channel. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. The party was lit, but all I see is people lie down in their spit and they vomit. And no way to say is right down till we lie down, but don't let drugs and alcohol carry us 6 feet underground. You might feel like you're flying with colors and you can manage it because you're so smart, but you can't control it when it's in your system and ready to fail your heart. Cocaine, marijuana and ecstasy, even the trending will never be good for we. Everybody wanna zest and pop pills, but that not help you develop no skills. So say no to drugs today. yonder. Drag your bow, mister.
Honestly, I feel amazing. It was easy for me and my classmates to successfully perform, and it was kind of difficult in some places, but we got through to it.
I feel fantastic. It's unreal. It was just like we had a 2-day period to learn everything and to get everything into sorts. So it just came naturally to us as performing.
I'm feeling ecstatic, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling really happy for the students as well because they made the sacrifice, they sacrificed their lunchtime, and I really commend them for putting their best foot forward. Well, I am someone who has been in the cultural space for many years, so it pleases me to see that they are using the cultural art form to push positive messages.
Stress has become one of the most significant triggers for substance misuse and relapse. Social pressures, economic uncertainty, and mental health challenges can leave individuals, especially our youths, searching for ways to cope. Unfortunately, some turn to alcohol, marijuana, and other substances as temporary relief, often leading to long-term consequences for their health, relationship, and future opportunities.
This is why prevention matters. We must continue to promote healthy ways of coping with stress through physical activity, proper tests, good nutrition, open communication, counseling, and creative expression. Just as importantly, we must ensure that individuals feel safe seeking help without fear of judgment or stigma. The Tobago House of Assembly, through the Division of Community Development and Social Protection, remains committed to this people-centered approach. We will continue to invest in community programs, youth development initiatives, and partnership that strengthens mental health, support, and promote healthy lifestyles.
We leave you with the words of Ra Shorty I, a founding father. Watch out, my children, watch out. It's about a fella called Lucifer with a bag of white powder. And he don't want to powder your face, but to bring shame and disgrace to the human race. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. A fierce row is erupting at Pigeon Point. Ronnie Elliott of Cool Runnings is lashing out after reportedly receiving a cease and desist letter for refurbishing his boat on the shoreline. Elliott, a 25-year veteran, is refusing to move, claiming he's maintained the area with over $30,000 of his own funds, and accusing management of disrespecting local boatmen while allowing others to encroach on the bay. He is demanding a face-to-face meeting with the board. Additionally, is the state of emergency threatening press freedom? MAT President Priya Bihari is calling for a narrow interpretation of Regulation 11, which restricts influencing public opinion. While the clause appeared in a previous SOE and has been used against social media users like Olive Green Jack, Bihari warns that authorities must respect the constitutional safeguards to ensure legitimate journalism isn't silenced. Additionally, in local court, a man caught on camera walking out of Penny Savers Canby with a full basket of unpaid goods on February 24th has been found. Following a swift TTPS investigation, the suspect was arrested, charged, and sentenced to 2 months of hard labor. And finally, Secretary Darren Henry met yesterday with the Turtle Village Trust Executive Director, Dr. Alan Bachan, to strengthen conservation efforts. The new partnership aims to use community-led data to predict nesting sites as the 2026 turtle season shifts into high gear. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, for the week here, we at Tobago Updates have been celebrating International Women's Day and International Women's Week, leading up to International Women's Day. And we have been highlighting a number of phenomenal women on the island of Tobago and the work that they have been doing or has done in their entire life and career. And this morning is just like any other morning. We jump straight ahead into our conversation, and I'm wondering if you could guess who I'm talking to this morning. One of our former MPs for Tobago, a woman that is no stranger to us here on Tobago Updates, and of course no stranger to you as well. Her work speaks for itself. She has done work in the area of tourism, sport, and a number of community development initiatives. This morning I have the privilege of chatting with no other than the former MP for Tobago West, Miss Shamfa Kojo-Lewis. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago Updates family. Good morning, Tobago. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be here with you this morning.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to see you here as we celebrate International Women's Day. And the work that you have done goes beyond politics. It goes into the community. It goes into youth empowerment, youth guidance. And you started off as one of the youth leaders in Tobago, coming up under the PNM Youth Arm, but also doing a number of other youth community-based initiatives. But persons may not know the Shamfa before politics. And this morning, when we talk about the journey of women to where they are now, a lot of women always attest to the fact that their childhood played an integral role in who they are for today. Can you say the same for yourself? And can you give us a little insight into Shamfa Kojo-Lewis before politics?
But before politics, I would always describe myself as a youth leader. I started off in school groups like the Student Council at Compre. You had Young Leaders, Royal Bank Young Leaders was pretty much my very first youth group in secondary school. But then I graduated to working with the steering committee to re-establish the Tobago Youth Council in Tobago, where I served as vice president and president. I also served as CARICOM Youth Ambassador and a Child Rights Ambassador for United Nations. So I've been doing this for the bulk of my life. It's all about investing in others, being a voice for the voiceless, and empowering young people to recognize their full potential. I've always been specifically passionate about making sure young girls identify their roles and their rights and feel like there's a space for them at the table and creating opportunities for young women to rise. So politics provided a platform for me to advance development for my people in Tobago, to be a role model for so many other young women, and to develop the place and the people I love. I've used that platform to run different programs and deliver projects to help to build youth and to help to build women and Tobagonians by extension.
Right, and even as we touch a bit on those projects, I remember the Purple Rain project.
Pink Rain campaign.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Pink Rain project that was done under your leadership as Minister for Sport. Tell us a bit about that.
The Pink Rain campaign is all about making sure that women remain active, that you get involved in sport, and even if you're not trying to be a top star athlete, it's all about getting out there, getting moving, focusing on yourself, investing in you before you pour into others. As women, we often get to that stage where we are taking care of children, taking care of husband, taking care of family, and we forget ourselves. And you have to invest in yourself. You have to make sure that you are doing well so that you can help others. So the Pink Rain campaign is about promoting women and girls in sports and helping us to remember that remaining active goes a long way for mental health or physical health and our long-term welfare. Alongside Pink Rain campaign, we also had projects like I Choose Sport, where we encourage young people and young women to get involved in sport at all levels. We also had development programs for like character development, like the Becoming program under the Pink Rain to inspire young women and girls. We have like the Boss Lady project, where we train young women who are unemployed to go ahead and chase their dreams, to learn some sort of trade and learn to run their own businesses and so on. So for me, politics have provided a platform for me to invest in others, for me to motivate others, and to spark a light in some other young woman.
Right. And I'm guessing that the dynamics and the gender balance in politics now is quite different from when you first entered. Times have changed. You see more women coming to the fore to be involved and to be active in politics, specifically more young women. How have you seen that dynamic shift from the time you've started to now?
I think that we have come a long way from 16 years ago to now. I started in frontline politics in June of 2010. And at that time, there were people saying I'm too young, that we needed a woman. And there are those who frowned upon me because I was from Tobago. So you had the three things, as people may say, working against me. But for me, I saw it as a plus, because getting involved in public life and getting involved in politics, to me, it was more than just holding office. And to this day, it is still more than just taking up space or holding office. It's about inspiring others, creating opportunities for others. And I really wanted my journey in politics to reflect one that would inspire political leaders and political parties to say, I want more Shamfa Kojo, or I want more young people, and especially young girls, to come out and make their mark. And I believe that after my term as an opposition senator, that political parties were inspired and open to inviting more young people to politics. And there are so many other young people who have come on after me and made their mark. And I think that that is what it's all about. So when I'm in the front row or on the back row, my business is to inspire others. So we'll have more and more young people, more persons who believe that that door was closed for them, probably because of the type of family or community they came from, or they just never saw themselves really pursuing that role. I want young people and young women especially to believe that there's a place at the table for you. And if there's no place, bring your own table and your own chair and take up your space and go out there and spread your magic. And that is why I spend so much time now that I have more free time on my hand, working with young people, working with C-suite professionals, especially women, and working with aspiring politicians. So I'm working with young people who are interested in diplomacy, because you have like a lot of the people in Rotaract and Interact, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but also in the Caribbean. They're hesitant to get into politics, but they need that guidance as it relates to charting their own course in diplomacy in the region. But my passion is helping other young people get into politics and make their mark there. So I have invested in myself. I've taken a lot of training over the last year to train others in leadership and protocol and etiquette, so that when it's not only about inviting girls or having them access new opportunities, but when they walk in a room, they must command the room, you know. So that is what I have been working on, and I'm excited about.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of time persons are hesitant to say, you inspired me. Or I have seen your work and I'm inspired, and I personally have always been inspired by the work that you've done. I remember being in sixth form with your brother and saying, you know, one day I want to be just like Shamfa, and we always laugh and joked about that. So your passion to actually inspire, I can tell you from someone sitting on the opposite side, you have done it. You understand? It has been done. You've reached the young people, and we see the work that you've done. I think it has changed, it truly changed the dynamic of politics. It has changed the type of persons that we see being confident enough to come to the fore and have their voices heard, you know, and just seeing you in the parliament, seeing you making a statement, seeing you introducing that Tobago Picong even in your speech. I think you started a new era even in public speaking, that persons might not know that, listen, that we have some traits of Shamfa Kojo in there. And so I want you to know that your work definitely has spoken for itself. And even as we talk about, you know, shifting trajectories and moving to different stages in life and leadership. There are different stages, you know, you start as a newcomer, you're being introduced, you're learning, and you become skilled, you become a professional, and after you've accomplish what you want to accomplish, then you begin to turn back and mentor others. And then we see the programs like the Yes Women in Leadership program that's happening for women parliamentarians of Trinidad and Tobago. How important is it for young women, specifically young Tobago women, to want to be a part of these type of programs and take advantage of, you know, the exposure that comes with those type of projects?
I think we have so many young leaders in waiting in Tobago, and they often don't get the opportunity to enter these rooms and seize these opportunities. And it's not for lack of talent. It's because of our upbringing. Sometimes our parents and our environment or society train us to feel like we don't belong or that other people are better. So you may go to a conference in Trinidad and the Trinidadian students are more confident, they're more courageous, but we will trained to believe that a woman must be seen and not heard, and you must just dumb yourself down. And I don't believe in diminishing myself for anybody else or playing small. So it's about making sure young women have the opportunity, yes, but make sure that they seize the opportunity. They know how to act, they know how to behave when they get access to going to youth parliament and so on. And that is why training is so important for me. Young women, Tobago women, need to see other women, another Tobago women at the forefront. It broadens your horizon and it makes you believe like, yeah, I can do that too, I can be that too. And there are so many lessons to learn, because as a woman there are so many stereotypes that we have to challenge and overcome. So for instance, when you're strong as a woman, they feel like, okay, you're difficult to deal with. And if you're too warm, they say, okay, she's an easy walkover, she doesn't know how to manage authority. So it's about striking the right balance. And not just that, knowing who you are. It's about training in leadership. But for me, my journey also shows that it's important to have training in resilience. Because whilst you're out there, you're under attack. As a woman, your accomplishments are being placed under a microscope, and you're being attacked aggressively. Personally, your life is under a microscope also, and you face so much dragging and so much roasting in the public, and you have to learn to not just lead but also to be resilient and not let that get the best of you, and to learn and grow from it. So I have gotten to the point after decades of dragging to learn to know myself. And if you know yourself and your purpose, then the power of the criticism redounds to nothing. And I think that's important for girls and women in leadership.
And what do you say to women who enter spaces and feel that level of imposter syndrome, or feel as though their ideas are not being heard, or they are being overlooked just because they may not be as dominant or assertive? And they may say, well, you know, I am just such a calm person, or just a quiet person, and I don't know how to break out of my shell and be that person that I often see other women are or other men are in the room. How do I move from being an introvert to just exploding when I get into the room, as you said?
I think that is such an important question, because so many women experience that. You've gone to school, you've gotten your degree, you feel like you're in the right circles, you even got promoted at work, but yet you're not being the one who is taken alongside the secretary to go to make a presentation. You're doing the hard work, you're doing the research, you're submitting your document, but the secretary taking somebody else to make the presentation or to go on a trip to somewhere, you know. And it's about you choosing to recognize this. Don't go around saying, them people don't like me. Nobody cares for that. You have to take charge of your journey. Control the narrative. Take control of what they are saying and thinking about you. Invest in your training, invest in executive presence. And that is why I created the Stellar Academy of Leadership and Etiquette. And there are so many other training programs throughout Trinidad and Tobago to teach you to take stock of yourself, invest in executive presence, know yourself, know what you stand for and why you are here, and pursue courageously and relentlessly. It's all about you being you and being sure about that, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything or anybody else.
Persons say sometimes, individuals, as you indicated before, that persons told you before, you can't possibly be too young to get into politics. When you look at the time that you entered to now, do you think that you should have waited a bit before getting into politics? Do you have no regrets, or do you feel like your time in politics has not yet come to an end?
I got into frontline politics at the age of 28, and many said I was too young at that time, but it was important at that time. And as youth activists, I had to be on the front line and make sure that the youth voice is heard and respected. So I think I came on the scene at an accurate time, at an appropriate time, to provide opportunities for others. For young people, politics it can be tricky, because when your party is in power, of course, you're out there, you're getting work done and so on. But when your party is not in power, and especially in this culture where people don't want to hire you because you're a PNM. Yeah, here I am, I'm 44 years old. I have 26 years before I'm 70, so I have 26 years of working life left in me, at least, you know, and thinking, okay, I would not get a job in Trinidad and Tobago in the area that I want a job in. My background is in international trade. I build programs for youth and that kind of thing, but I don't anticipate a Tobago House of Assembly hiring me. I don't anticipate a government of Trinidad and Tobago hiring me. And for young people who don't have skill, don't have tact, and didn't work on or build their network, then that person ends up on the bad side of the fence, you know. And a lot of young people are saying, no, I want to get involved in politics, but I can't get involved on this side or on that side because I have my future ahead of me. I have to build my house. I have to invest in myself. And it's just the way things have gotten over the years. But for me, I am happy that I have a passion for training. I have established myself in such a way where I find so much joy in helping and building others. And that's what I'm going to do. But for young people, it's tricky for them. It's tricky for them. Let's say, for instance, you have a youngster approaching 25 years old, and I'm encouraging that person to get involved in politics. if when the TPP is in power, they don't hire PNM, and if when the PNM is in power, they don't hire TPP, then nobody wants to get on anybody's side. And I think that keeps away really good people from entering politics. And you need good people in politics because good people deserve good governance and good leadership. And I hope that things can change so that young people wouldn't have to shy away from politics and take their rightful place to stand up in their communities, stand up in Tobago, stand up nationally and let their voices be heard. But it's just the culture we live in right now, and I hope things change.
Understood. And, you know, even as we round up our discussion, the people want to know what's next for Shamfa Kojo. I mean, it's always possible that God is leading, and wherever He's leading, that's where you will go and you're not sure. But if you do know, let the people know. What can we look forward to from Shamfa Kojo next?
Well, Chanel, you know, I am a frontline politician. I am a member of the People's National Movement. I believe in the policies of the People's National Movement. In Tobago, of course, we have faced a debilitating loss. We faced a couple losses, and I think the people of Tobago have sent a very clear signal to us. They've been sending a signal for some time that we need to re-look at our structure. We need to re-look at how we do things, how we treat people, how we treat each other. And we are at a stage now where we are restructuring and rebuilding. You have internal elections coming up for the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement. And of course, I do intend to run and to throw my hat in the ring for the position of political leader, or for wherever the people call me, you know. But I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, a servant of Tobago, and I'm a PNMite, and whatever is needed to restore confidence in the People's National Movement Tobago Council once again, I'll be up front and center, as the old people say.
Yeah, yes. I'm very proud to hear that. I'm proud to hear that at a young age, Shamfa Kojo has not decided to abandon politics, especially knowing that you've made your mark in Tobago. And I really do look forward to seeing the future for Shamfa Kojo. You know, just looking back at where you started in the parliament as a senator and now where you are today, I think it's inspiring for a lot of young women looking on and seeing. I think it's an exciting time ahead. I have confidence in your ability to secure the position as political leader.
Thank
and
you.
I think a lot of Tobagonians are looking towards something like that, because it was the speculation in the space. Persons were speculating that the next political leader for the People's National Movement might just be Shamfa Kojo. And sometimes there's a little truth to the speculation. And so we look forward to seeing what becomes of that. And as we round off this one, is there anything that you want to say to Tobagonians looking on before?
I would say on the matter of political leadership, of course, it's an open race. So I am just one person offering my hat in the ring or offering myself for leadership. I'm sure there would be others who would enter the race, but at the end of the day, it's all about all the skillful people, all the people who are willing to serve, coming forward and doing the needful to rebuild our party for Tobagonians. I want to say it has been and continues to be a pleasure serving you, speaking on your behalf, because though I'm not in office, it doesn't mean that my work is done. I continue to fight and to advance on behalf of Tobagonians, and I ask all Tobagonians, everybody has a role to play in making Tobago what we want it to be, no matter what side of the fence you stand. And I am just excited. There are good things ahead for all of us here in Tobago once we all settle down and get the work done. So I want to thank the people of Tobago, thank Tobago Updates, and you, Chanel, for inviting me here today and giving me the opportunity to connect and to share some love as we celebrate International Women's Day 2026 and as we celebrate women in leadership.
Excellent. And the race for political leader, when is the election? Is it in April?
Our election is scheduled for April 19th. Yeah, that's in about 6 weeks, April 19th, 2026.
You know, Tobago Updates, we're going to be front and center. We'll be bringing you all the coverage of that. That's going to be interesting. You know, I'm excited to see. You know, we always like a little razzle-dazzle here on Tobago Updates. So we look forward to seeing who the other contestants are for political leader for the People's National Movement, and hopefully a totally new era for the People's National Movement in Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to our traffic report this morning, and we are right over there at the Rockley Vale traffic light on the Claude Noel Highway. And you know, usually at this time of morning, there's quite a traffic backup, but we're seeing quite clear this morning. If you're heading east or west, you'll get to your destination in no time. But you see, coming out of that north side road there, it's always a little backup by the Harmons SDA school. And if you're coming to Scarborough, then you should get here in no time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowland. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, Amateur Comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax, we will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Coming up, another show-stopping performance from the Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra as Antigua and Barbuda got ready for its own fiesta of color and energy. New ideas for Tobago tourism delivered at the Youth Congress. This highly rated property fits in perfectly with the vacation offerings of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the future of travel was laid out. It's all next on this station.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago Updates. You know, we have been chatting with a number of women here on Tobago Updates this week as we celebrate International Women's Week. And to have our next conversation with us this morning, I have the privilege of chatting with Miss Annayia Baird, who is a fashion model right here from Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Hi. It's great to be here this morning.
It's nice to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself for the persons who don't know who Annayia is, or some of the work that you have been doing. Tell us.
Hi, good morning, Tobago. I am Annayia Baird. I am the Trinidad and Tobago Top Model of 2024, held by Kojo-Lewis International Fashion Workshop. I am 19 years old. It has been a year since I've been professionally modeling and 2 years since I won the initial competition that allowed me to start in this world of high fashion international modeling.
Right, and it's Annayia, not Annayia. Let me just get it correct, right? Annayia. So tell us a bit about how does a young woman go from being on the small island of Tobago to being an international modeling sensation?
Initially, I was scouted at Tobago's first People's Gala by Mr. Christopher Nathan. And from there, I started training with him, learning how to walk, learning how to present myself as a model. And then he started his workshop, and that is where I officially enrolled in actual professional training and got the insights of his past models and, of course, his insights. And from there, the competition was held. And then his partner agent, Mr. John, he judged the competition. And from there, I was able to get the opportunity to sign international contracts with the representative agencies I have now in New York, Milan, and Paris. It was a big jump going from a little island to out in this open world, traveling Europe and America. But with the training I received initially in the first few years, I was able to adjust to the transition a little better.
Right. And, you know, persons say that modeling, it has an expiration date on it. You know, eventually you move on, move up, and you do different things. How important is it for you to savor every moment of the experience while you are in it and look for areas of creating sustainable success?
Modeling, to me, I believe, is another form of artistic expression, and in that there's a lot of room for growth. It's much like a sport where you have to be in tune with your body. It requires you to tap into your creativity a lot, where you have to have the vision of being both in front of the camera and behind the camera. You have to see it from the perspective as the model and the photographer. It requires you to be sociable. It allows you to grow personally, and I think once there's room for growth, it is a sustainable career. Right. You're always becoming better. There's always more to achieve, a higher level to get to.
I mean, well, you look at global models like Naomi Campbell, who has had an extremely long running career. And there are always opportunities to get into other areas like acting or, you know, different areas within the entertainment sphere. For you particularly, are there any other areas that you are a bit interested in possibly making crossovers into? Maybe we might see you on a Netflix show or a series.
I mean, I would love that. One of my inspiration is Grace Jones, and she's a 1970 icon who didn't confine to one path of being just a model. She became an actress, producer, songwriter. I would love to venture into the different aspects of the entertainment industry, honestly. And I also see a lot of different opportunities behind the camera while on sets. Photographers, set designers, producers, and it's very inspirational to see that there are different niche positions in the fashion industry besides the glamorous life of modeling. You see the model alone, but there are so many different positions that help with the flow of the entire, you know, production. Right now, I'm not doing anything, but I would love to test my hand in a little other position, you know.
Right, understood. And what do you have to say to parents or just family members of young women in Tobago who have these big dreams, and you know they often sometimes come from families who, you know, call them just a dreamer? What do you have to say to these parents when it comes to being confident enough to let their kids or their family really explore and tap into the things that they truly want to do, and possibly even giving them their blessing to travel the world like you have been doing?
Many people, I've heard this before, many people don't see it as a job. Many people may call it vain. Like I said, it's another form of artistic expression, and I really understood that and learned that there are many hardships that come with it that allow for growth. And you really know it is something that is for you, and you're excited to make mistakes, you're excited to fall and get back up and learn again. And I think conversations need to be had with parents and with the older generation that will allow them to see it as the art form that it is, and will help them be more open-minded to letting their children participate and partake in it. Because even when I was attending the workshop 2 years ago, parents were hesitant to let their children join and take part in the competition, even though it opened a lot of opportunities. And I hope that when they see the success of the past models and like my predecessors, and hopefully me, I hope I build my success enough for them to see that it is a career path that their children can take.
Understood. And what about when the opportunities arise for their kids to leave? You know, many parents are, you know, so afraid of the world that we live in today, and rightfully so. The world is, it could be a dark place sometimes. How do you reassure parents to release their kids into this wild world to pursue their dreams and passions?
Well, the world has always been the world, and it will always be the world. It can be a dangerous place, but it starts in home. Once you are confident in the teachings you've instilled in your child, you can only let them go and hope for the best, honestly. It's the same as if you're going to send them to college, send them abroad for an opportunity in the sciences. It's just that this is a different career and pathway, but you have to let go of your children eventually.
Understood. All right. Well, we want to really thank you for giving us your time here this morning. We want to wish you all the best in your modeling career. And, we wish you all the best collaborations and partnerships, and that you can use these opportunities to fly the flag for Trinidad and Tobago, but Tobago particularly, and use your talents to really be an ambassador for the island. And, always advocate for your peers to come to Tobago and for opportunities to shoot major, beautiful campaigns. Reminding that you come from the greatest little island on the planet, a piece of paradise on earth. And so if they're ever looking for a nice location, Tobago is always open and available. Always do. Thank you to you for being here this morning. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversations after this. See you soon. Together we're stronger.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or a multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
To Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we are chatting a bit about the 5th annual National Spelling Bee and Vocabulary Challenge that's happening in Tobago very soon. This morning to have that conversation with me, I have the privilege of chatting with Mrs. Esther Ali, who's a business consultant and CEO of Pam Star Promotions. She is no stranger to us here in Tobago Updates. We know her definitely. Every year we are here having this competition and this conversation. Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates.
Good morning to my Tobago family. Good morning, sweetheart. Thank you all for having me here today again. And it's always a privilege to come home to Tobago.
Right.
From 3 aspects: as a long-time member in Tobago, working amongst my fellow peers in Tobago in media, as well as the ambassador for Charon's Bookstores for the last 7 years, and for the last 5 years of doing Pam Star Promotions National Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge, as well as national mathematics competitions that we do in October.
Right. And so parents, teachers, the students all look forward to this competition every year. Because it's always that time where they get to challenge themselves, get the work done, but also win absolutely amazing prizes.
Yes, they
Tell us a bit about the dates for the competition this time around.
Thank you, darling. This time around, the competition is being held at Scarborough Library. It is on the 23rd of April. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Auntie Esther, why it's not on a Saturday? We're given the opportunity to Adventist students to also take part in the competitions through their schools or individuals, because we have homeschool students in Trinidad and in Tobago. So the Tobago students, we are looking forward to having you all in our competition again from standard 3, 4, and 5. And it has not changed. We still give the local words from the Kutasi Kutala, but also the local words of places of interest, animals, plants in Tobago. And we come out with the national spelling. Part of it is where you're given a word to spell, a word to meaning, and a word in the proper context of a sentence. We have been doing this for the last 4 years, and I need to clear up one little thing. I know we don't have much time today, but a lot of folks has been asking us, are we Mindstar? We are not Mindstar. We have never been Mindstar. We are Palmstar Promotions. We were the first company out of Trinidad to bring national spelling and vocabulary to Tobago. Please do not be misled. Parents are calling me and asking me, Auntie Esther, is Mindstar part of Palmstar? No, it's not. We have been dedicating ourselves to our children in Tobago and Trinidad for the past 5 years. We have brought winners, overall winners that came from Tobago and win in Trinidad. We have taken children from Tobago to enter competitions in Trinidad, and they have always done extremely well, and in Tobago. Now the prizes have increased. Last year we gave a desktop computer and a printer to the top school, and we will maintain that this year as well through RR Electronics in Trinidad. And they also maintain the computer and the printer for the school. We are looking to do inter-island tickets. We're in negotiations right now with Cal to see if they will be able to facilitate. If they can't, Sharon's Bookstores has agreed as well, beside giving vouchers to our top students and certificates, medals, trophies. We have a lot of hampers to give away as well. Sampling will be done at the library with specific companies in mind. So children, the fun is still going to be there. The competition is a little more fierce this year. We have seen that by speaking to parents and teachers and seeing the grades of the students. Because Tobago children are very academically inclined, and you all need to be patted on your shoulders, the teachers, the parents, and even the children who have developed over the last 5 years. I have seen tremendous growth in these children, and I'm very proud of them, as well as their enthusiasm that if they see me in the mall, Auntie Esther, when is next competition? Auntie Esther.
Exactly. And parents and viewers ought to understand that a part of having a well-rounded education system is having things that students look forward to outside of the classroom.
Yes, they do.
Things that make them excited, things that make them want to go to class, want to learn the words, because there is a prize.
Yes.
You know, at the end of it, it's something to really keep them motivated. And so when you see these different competitions and spelling bees and quizzes coming up, get your students, get your children, get your neighbors, get them involved.
Yes.
Because it gives them the exposure. It also increases their self-confidence and their self-esteem. It helps to develop their public speaking ability, and it really helps to shape them into well-rounded students.
I'm happy that you have made these points, because this is what we have been our driving force. And to, most importantly, to build the confidence in our children, because we have seen it grown, where we have children who has passed for bishops and tell you, Auntie Esther, if it wasn't for these competitions, I don't know where I would have been at this time. I'm in third form and I'm doing 14 subjects and I'm doing 16 subjects. And because of the confidence that you have instilled in me, I'm able to do so and so. And I'm really happy for that. And parents still do call me and say, Auntie Esther, even though I don't have children in the competition anymore, they're all growing up too fast, I still will come and sit and support, and I'm happy to see that. But we would like very much to ask the business community, please come forward in Tobago to give some assistance with this, because it's very costly for us to do the event, and we don't intend to stop it. As you all know, for years gone by, I've always said I've gotten the calling to do this, and I intend to maintain this. Please, parents, reach out to me, teachers, homeschool. Every denomination are invited. My contact number is 471-2604, and I'm going to also meet with Secretary Orlando Curl today to discuss it further. But I have a little surprise for the outlying schools in the outlying area who wishes to send their students into the competition. We are willing to pay 50% of the transport fee for these students to come to the competition. Close-off date is at the end of March. By the 30th of March, I must have all students. If it is, we have gotten overbooked, we will try to balance and see what can happen. Scarborough Library is important to Tobago. It's important to me as well, and giving back to the community and being in a community location. Folks, we thank you all for all your support all the years. Thank you very much, and we look forward to continue growing with you all. But as we said before, we are not Mindstar, we are Palmstar, and Palmstar is Pamela, which is my mother's name, and Esther, that means star.
Yes.
All the best to you all.
Right. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here this morning, and we're wishing you success in your meeting this morning with the Secretary for Education, Skills and Innovation. And we look forward to all the principals and the teachers engaging their students in the opportunity to come out and showcase all that they have been doing throughout the academic term, and, you know, just getting that level of exposure, winning some good prizes for themselves and for their schools as well, right? Well, again, Auntie Esther, we want to thank you for always making sure to choose our Tobago students and not leave them out, giving them the opportunities that are needed to help develop them as well-rounded students.
Palmstar will continue doing this.
Yes, and we do not take the work that you do for granted. We truly appreciate it. The work that one takes to put their own personal resources behind developing the education sector is something that should never be taken for granted. So we want to say thank you, and we are looking forward to a very successful spelling bee that's coming up. Remind all viewers about the times, the dates, the deadline.
In Trinidad, in Tobago, it is the 23rd of April at Scarborough Library. Bookings must be made, reservations for the spaces must be done by the 30th of March or before. We welcome students from Standard 3, 4 and 5, homeschool, public school, even the little ones that you have coming up who are in Standard 2, please bring them and let them enjoy the competition and also learn from it and build their confidence from now. Thank you all.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you to take a picture of that flyer, or where can they go to find out more information?
They can contact me on 471-2604 or go to our Palmstar Promotions page. Directly, I am always available. If I don't answer you at the same time, just WhatsApp me and I'll call you back within a few minutes.
Excellent. So this is your opportunity to be a part of it. Send it to someone who may be interested. If you know a principal, a teacher, or even a student that would be interested in being a part of the conversation of the competition, make sure to get them in. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for sticking with us this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. And you know, this week we have been chatting with a number of powerful and impactful women who are Tobagonians or who are doing stuff in Tobago, and Auntie Esther is, you know, one of those women who come to Tobago and make her impact. We had the opportunity to speak this morning with Annayia Beard, who is she is a Tobago model that's doing global campaigns, so she is traveling the world at this time. And we also this morning had the opportunity to chat with former Tobago West MP Shamfa Kojo-Lewis, and she gave us that big announcement this morning that she is indeed throwing her hat in the ring for the position of political leader, vying for within the Tobago People's National Movement Council. And so we look forward to an interesting time ahead. We go straight to our traffic report at the Wilson Road. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the Wilson Road traffic light here in Scarborough on the Claude Noel Highway, and surprisingly, there's not much traffic there this morning, right? But there's always a bit of a slow movement of traffic that comes out of that Plymouth Road, Glen Road area, which is quite normal during this time, and a slow movement from the west toward the east, right from that Bishop's walk over there. That's consistent, right? You know that you can definitely expect that slow movement of traffic as persons are still trying to make it in for 9 a.m. And if you're still trying to make it to work, well, you are already late, but The least you could do is get there at this point, right? Again, we want to thank you so much for being with us this morning. Enjoy our views of the beautiful island of Tobago, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.